Welcome, everyone. I'm Annie Burridge. I'm the General Director and CEO at Austin Opera. I'm here with two of my colleagues. Nathan DePoint is our Chief Producing Officer. So that means he oversees all of our artistic programming, from casting and production, every element of the company he oversees. And Jennifer Baston here oversees the other half of the company, which is all of our fundraising and marketing and audience development. I thank you all so much for joining us in English today. I guarantee that your English is much better than my Spanish. I do apologize for that. Jennifer is fluent in Spanish, so as are many of our staff members here at Austin Opera. So we always have someone who can jump in and help us translate if necessary for trying to get something across. So we just wanted thank you so much for taking the time. We just wanted to share a little bit about this residency. It's a brand new program. We've just made it up. This will be the first year, so we will learn a lot as we go and as we learn. But the intention of the residency is that we need many, many more operas here in the United States that are told by creators that are from Latin America, South America, Mexico. We're really, really interested in storytelling and from the perspectives of creatives from that part of our world. There are really only a few titles and a few composers that are well known here in the United States that tour around regularly. And we want to do all that we can to bring new operas to the fold. We love Daniel Catan, but we need some more. And so we wanted to create this residency. As far as opera companies in the United States go, we are one of the smaller ones. We do 3 big operas a year. There are other companies that do many more with many more performances. So, you know, we aren't a company who can commission a new opera, a new grand opera on our own, but we're certainly a company with a lot of staff that have experience in developing and working on new opera. And so we wanted to offer the opportunity for a work that you may be considering, or a work that you've already been working on, or even completed that you think needs would benefit from some more development and from some more workshopping with the musicians we have here in Austin. And so we are looking for applicants who have a piece that they would like to do or that's already in progress, that we could help them with the development by spending the season just in touch with our creative team, lending any help we can in ideas in the development of that work, and through 10 days spent here in Austin, Texas, where you could workshop aspects of the opera with musicians, with singers here in Austin. We do have good recording equipment, so we could record those workshops either for your benefit to keep working on it, or to record it if you want to share and promote it. And maybe we could find some additional opera companies who'd be interested in investing in its development. So the application is online. I think Nate just put the link there, and we're just here to answer any questions that you might have about the residency and how it might work. Again, we've never done it before, so we're figuring this out as we go along. I will also say that we posted the deadline for applications for this residency to be, what did we say, Nate? June 1st?
Yeah, we said June 1st.
Okay, so if you are on this call, I know that's just 3 weeks away and you're really interested. If you just want to, you can just contact Nate, and his contact information is in that application, and say, I'm really interested in applying. I need a few more weeks. We're happy to extend that deadline to later in June, since we're coming up so close on it. So just a note there. So let us know if you have questions.
And I would just add, in addition to what Annie has said, I wanted to talk a little bit about the artistic team that you'd be working with. So Annie, of course, our General Director and CEO, She has years and years of experience working with new composers, new works, especially during her time at Opera Philadelphia, where I'm sure a lot of you know they have like the Composer in Residence program, as well as have been real champions of new opera for years. So before coming to Austin, I was at Fort Worth Opera, where we had a creatives and composer librettist competition called Frontiers, where we brought 8 teams to Fort Worth to workshop pieces, as well as I've worked on several world premieres as well. Our music director, Timothy Myers, has conducted and developed I don't know, 30 new works over the course of his career. So he's well versed. And then also Claudia Chapa, our curator for Hispanic and Latinx initiatives. She will also be a part of this process, and she has, sung in many world premieres. And so she can definitely speak to it from a singer perspective, and really help that conversation as we go through the weeks. But all 4 of us are very well versed in this process, and we care deeply about creatives and making a safe space for all of you to explore and create. So that's what we're really excited about. Glad to have you all here. Any questions? I dropped the link to our website and the application in the chat, and I also, just in case you have questions, I also put the email address that you can contact me directly in the chat as well.
Yeah, go ahead. We have a question.
I have a question.
Yeah. Yes.
We haven't decided on the story we want to tell yet. We have some ideas, but nothing concrete. It's possible to work that part there?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's fine. You can just tell us in the application, just tell us about that and maybe what type of stories you're considering, or what it is, that you're searching for, and how, you think that we may be able to help you with that, if you think we can.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing, the way we tried to set up this residency is to make it as broad as possible to allow any work in whatever stage it's in, even if it's just inception or thinking about it. We want to make that available. So yeah, we're definitely interested in all areas of development for sure.
There was a question in the registration form regarding if the text or the libretto and the opera has to be in English or in Spanish.
It can be in any language you wish. Spanish is terrific. We have a Spanish language initiative here at Austin Opera, where we try to produce at least something every year that is in Spanish. I think the only thing that we indicate in the application is that when we talk about the artistic staff here at Austin Opera that would be working on the project, they are primarily English speaking. So I think you need to be comfortable working in English, but the work itself absolutely does not need to be in English. It's probably better if it's not. Well, we don't care, actually. We don't care what language it's.
Bring us your thoughts.
Is it
So,
George? Go for it.
sorry, I do have a question. I don't know if I'm intruding.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering, like I said, well, I have worked quite a bit in chamber opera, and also as the colleague who talked earlier, me and Marisa Nunez have not decided yet which project to present. We were wondering maybe we could present various options, so you can choose on your own criteria which of the projects we could present you is more attractive and more suitable to your own needs. So I was wondering if we could present multiple choices.
Absolutely. And I think there's a few ways we could go about that. If you just wanted to maybe reach out to that email address in advance and say, just let us know, here are a couple of things that we could submit, and maybe we could advise you on which one or which ones might be best to submit more materials on. That way you don't need to complete the application over and over again. So maybe reach out in advance, give us a general, just a general summary of different options you're considering. And we can say, oh, okay, here are the ones where we think we might be able to be most helpful in moving them forward. Do you think that makes sense, Nate? Good plan.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I don't think filling out the application more than once is necessary. I think, but let's email and communicate about what makes the most sense for you to spend your time on, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, excellent. Thank you so much.
I think George had a question.
That was my question. It was exactly the same, so great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Is there a limitation on orchestration? Most of the things that I have done, and I think talking to George, I think our proposal will be involved mostly chamber ensemble. Is there any limitation of amount of singers in a scene or amount of instrumentation that we should have? And also in the interaction with maybe technology and maybe a computer synthesis sound and in combination with acoustic and music, is this possible and is still in consideration for applications?
Yeah, we'll consider everything. I mean, we are somewhat limited in the forces we can bring to the workshop, but we can certainly workshop something, without 16 violins, right? As long as you think that, we can probably bring about 10 orchestra musicians, 5 to 6 singers. As long as you think the work would benefit from a workshop in that format, it can be as any scale is fine of the work itself.
Great. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Hello.
Thomas.
Hi. I have a question about the residency period, because I think in the application said that it's between September 23 and May 2024, right?
Yep.
So basically it could be in any time of that year.
Yeah, so the goal is, yes, and there is flexibility if it needed to be later than that. We just have to find 10 days that work for everyone. So work for everyone here and work for the two creators. And we're pretty flexible. And so it's just finding a time that would work for everyone, where we could also get the workshop musicians available as well.
Yeah, the major constraint that we have here in Austin is we would just have to work around when we have our production periods, because we'd use that same space for the rehearsals for those productions. But other than that, it's pretty open, and we can bat about some ideas for dates.
Of course, and there is a kind of a specific time for the residency. I mean, 2 weeks or 1 week or.
We set about 10 days.
Okay.
There's some flexibility there. I mean, it just basically goes to, what we can afford, because we want to make sure that we pay, the expenses for you to get there and for you to stay and eat and, enjoy wonderful Texas cuisine while you're here.
The other part of that is we definitely, beyond those 10 days, we'll work with you leading up to the workshop as well. So there'll be, emails, we could do some Zooms, things of that nature, so that we can really prep both our musicians here in Austin, but also the creatives as to what they're looking for in this workshop to be the most beneficial to everybody.
Sorry, another question. There is any kind of specific expectation of the result after the workshop, or no? Okay. So it's just a help for the creative process.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And then, our help afterwards and, what the next steps could be for the piece. We are a well-connected opera company. We know all the other opera companies in the country. We've got a lot of friends. And even if, a project isn't one that we can move forward with the residency, we really want to be the best advocates we can for advancing works that are coming from you guys. And we don't have the most money in the world, but we have we really care, and we have to have time and expertise, and we have a large network, and so we really want to do all we can to promote and get more works of these on stages, and eventually on stages in the US.
And I think Annie mentioned it, but just to bring it back up at this point, part of that promotion and discussion with the other companies is our ability to capture all of the stuff that we do during this workshop. So you'll have high quality video, audio, all of those things that you can use, but also we can use with our networks here to get both your projects and your names out in the States to allow more people to know about you and more people to know about your work and your musical voices. Right, because video is and audio is so helpful when administrators are considering new works. I also want to be clear here that, by participating in the residency, we have no rights to your work. We might ask you if the work is produced in other places, that maybe you would credit, that it was developed in a workshop with Austin Opera, a little bit of credit, but we have no rights, we have no ownership. If that remains solely with the creators.
I have two questions. The idea of the goal of the workshop is for creative teams already set up, or maybe the idea is for I don't know, matching a librettist with a composer who do not know themselves previously.
Yeah, that's a good question. Not with this initial residency. We're looking for people to apply together. It doesn't mean that they've necessarily worked together before. There are some organizations in the US, kind of new works development programs that really exist to match people up. That's not where we are. We don't really have that ability. So we're looking for in this first year for teams to come to us already formed with the desire to work with each other and to have a project in mind.
Okay, and the other question is related to the public in terms of the result. Who is the public for whom should be created the product? I mean, we are speaking about adults, we are speaking about youth, we're speaking about children, adolescents. I understood that in terms of subject, there is no restriction, is it?
Correct. And there is no public component of the workshop unless you'd like to have an invited audience, attend something toward the end of the residency. We can certainly invite any type of public that you would like. They could be adults. We could find some children. So, the intended audience for your piece, that's totally up to you. We do primarily produce for adult audiences here in Austin, but works for younger people are really important. And so if that's a project that you're working on that you're most excited and passionate about, we're totally happy to look at that.
Thank you very much. The last question, sorry. So the program is meant to have at least one meeting per month, and this week or 10 days of presential meetings, it should be to test in a sort of way the play. I mean, to test in terms of vocality for the singers and that type of things. So it
Exactly.
should be it might be at the end of the process, maybe.
Sure, yes.
Okay, great.
I think again, Nate, it kind of depends on where the project is. If it's brand new, then it would totally make sense that you would want some writing and development time with a workshop at the end. If it's a piece that's you've already been working on and you're trying to figure out what are the next steps, what to do with it next, how to, you know, build it out or change it, then you might want to do the in-person residency earlier on. So it really depends on the project.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
I have another one.
Tomás, dale.
Yes, thanks. If there is like any kind of expectation in relation to the topic behind the opera, I mean like the story, or no?
There's not.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Like Annie said, just whatever story you're passionate about, whatever story you want to tell. You know, we're really excited about championing creatives. And so whatever that looks like, we're open to.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, and we do want to hear about why you think why it's important to you to tell that story. That's what we'd love to learn about. But our decision making in terms of what we program in here in Austin is really separate from this program.
Thank you. I think that if there is no any further questions, we can close. And
The last one,
okay, go ahead.
can we access this recording for my partner?
Yeah, a copy of the recording. I think you guys.
I think that this is on us, and we will upload it to the Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube, Opera Latin America YouTube. I can send it later to Sebastián. Don't worry.
Great.
Just remember, if you reach out to us, the deadline will be extended.
I skipped the first part of the meeting because I was in another meeting, but I can listen some of the points and the goals of this program. So thank you so much, and I'm very happy with this program.
Great. Yes. If you have any questions, the email address is right there in the chat, and the link to the application. Feel free to reach out. Our opera conference here in America is also about to start. So don't fret if it takes a few days for us to get back to you. We will. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annie and team. Can you stay a bit after the meeting? We want to chat some things with you all.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, and nice to see some friend faces here.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Gracias.
Thanks, everyone.
Gracias.
Thanks.